Hello and welcome to Facebook Live on Thursday night with CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you are here with me live or if you are catching my replay. I really appreciate all of your support and your likes and shares, and I just am really grateful to get to hang out with you on Thursday nights. So, hey, Janie, good to see you. Thanks for letting me know comments are working and everything. I'm in the right spot and all that good stuff. So, just a few things tonight. Um, Let me see where I'm looking. Okay. So, hey, Mom. My next in-person class is on Monday, June 6th. That's at 6 p.m. here at my house in Murray. So if you would like to sign up for that, I will include a link to my calendar in the comments of this video once the video is over. I also have the new catalog out. So if you haven't already gotten one, I would be delighted to get you one. So just let me know about that. And then starting in May, what I decided to do was offer make and takes for my Facebook Lives. And so the way that I am working that, at least for the moment, is that each week I make one card, and on each live there will be a host code. If you want to receive the make and takes for the month, then you just order something with that host code. Order needs to be $35 or more. And then I'll know that you want those kits. And once all of the lives have aired, then I will send you the kits. So tonight is actually the third night in the May series. So I will leave it open until the end of May, but at that point I will close that host code and ship out all of the kits. So I hope that you will take advantage of that opportunity. I'm already planning what I'm going to do with the June series. I'm thinking it may be vellum focused or embossing or maybe a combination. So anyway, but for tonight and for all of May, I've really focused on different ways to use designer series paper. And so I do have one more fun card for that for tonight. And I think that's really it. This is kind of the off week. I don't have my next class to go quite ready, and I'm still wrapping up the kit cutting for the last class to go. So there is the pick of the crop paper pumpkin, and that looks like it's going to be really cute and summery, lots of berries, and you're the pick of the crop, and sentiments kind of, like that. So it will be a good one. And definitely, if you are interested in that, make sure that you sign up for it before June 10th. And word to the wise, if you actually want your paper pumpkins, it's important to make sure that your credit card information is accurate. I had been on a prepaid code for a while and that ended, and I forgot that my credit card number had changed. And so this beautiful Celebrating in Color kit that everybody is enjoying right now has not made it to my house yet because I don't even think they've been able to bill me. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it bills tomorrow and gets shipped out. So right, Janie, like what was I doing? I should have known better of all people. But anyway, one more thing, I do appreciate anytime you share my video. If you do comment then in the thread of this video that you shared, I enter you in a drawing for something fun. And this week, Jane Patterson is the winner, and I'm going to switch the camera so you can see what she's getting. She's getting these pretty sequins, and I think that's actually really perfect for her because I think she's still been using her little gumball set, and so those would be fun in the domes. So moving on from there, this is the kit that we're going to make tonight. And so it's a Starburst layout. As you can see, the strips get wider as you go. And I was inspired to do the technique by Lisa Bernard at Queen Bee Creations. And then I just looked through my designer series paper and chose some pretty ones. And so, as you know, each week this month, I have made 3 versions of the card so that you can see what it looks like with different products. but ultimately same layout, same dies, and same sentiment stamp set. So I think we will just get going on this one. It looks really fancy, but it's actually quite simple to do once you get the hang of it. So this is where your Stampin' Trimmer comes in really nice because it is precise enough to do this. And again, I'll put all of the measurements for this card in the description of the video once I am done. So I did some of the cutting ahead of time just to make it a little bit easier. But what I did was pick out 5 different patterns of designer series paper. And for this one, I used the New Horizons designer series paper that's in the mini catalog. And let me figure out what I did here. For this one, I used the Abstract Beauty. And then this one, I pulled out that sports fan paper that we had used last week too. I think it was last week. Yeah. So anyway, just get you some different ideas, and you can always use the paper that you have already in your craft room for this kind of thing, which is really nice. So each of these strips is 1¼ inches by 6 inches. And that is definitely bigger than you're going to need, but it gives you wiggle room so that you work everything, you know, as you're laying them out on the cardstock, you have enough to cover the whole piece. So you can see that I just angled this in my trimmer's gutter. And then I'm going to try to just keep my colors in order so that I don't have to think quite so hard. So this one is a pale papaya base. And so I want to make sure that I am doing the same orientation for this each time, or it doesn't work. Just ask me how I know. So the top right and the bottom left are what I'm going to use here. So once I have closed that flap, sometimes it shifts. And so I'm just going to double check and make sure it's really where I want it to be. And then run that cutting blade. And I will go through two cycles basically, so you can see a little bit of blue here, and the blue is actually where I started. So it's you know, I want to just keep them in order. So here again, I'm just gonna cut this. And I thought about having this part of the cutting done ahead of time, and then I realized that probably this is the part that you really want to see, just to make it, you know, cemented in your head a little bit better. So that is why we are doing all of it right here. So I've been doing business training, and one of the things is that reels are just where you have to be. And so I was thinking about different reels that I could make and put up over on Instagram. And my husband's really excited about the new Top Gun movie. So I, for whatever reason, managed to get the Righteous Brothers song, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, and I won't sing it for you, but that is just chasing around in my head right now. And so I think that that's going to have to be a reel here pretty soon, because it would just be funny with the idea that I have for it. So watch for that. All right, now this piece of basic white is 3¾ by 5. And what I'm going to do is just score it down the center of the long side. So at 2½, make sure I'm not cutting it here. And I'm not going to fold this or anything. I just want that score line to give me an idea of where I want to start lining things up. So now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal here. And I am just going to run this down like that. And let me see if I can bring this in a little bit so you can see how I arranged all of my pieces. And I am just going to start here with my blue. And so this really I can line up fairly straightforward. You know, this is flush and then this is flush to that score line. So now is where that doesn't work anymore. So I'm going to bring in my, if I can pick it up, my pale papaya piece. I thought you might enjoy if I shared with you, so you're welcome for that. All right, so the biggest thing here is that as I am placing this, I want to make sure that the top edge is covered because that is where I could mess this up, if that makes sense. So it is going to have excess more down here, but that is so that this is covered. Because once you've messed that up, it's kind of hard to fix. All right, and then getting the adhesive on is a little bit tricky for some of this. But all right. And now, so this is Melon Mambo. I keep wanting to put polished pink with this paper and then realizing that it would work, but not quite perfectly. So we are doing fresh freesia actually for our card base, but this piece is the fresh freesia. And then this teeny tiny little piece, I am actually just going to sit on because I'm guessing that once I trim off from here, I will be able to just use that up there. And if not, I do have the other, you know, wedge piece. I just figure I might get to use that for the inside if I do this right. So again, I want to make sure that, let's see, am I doing this right? Yes. The seal is not very forgiving, and so I just don't want to mess up. So there is that. All right, now we will move to our fresh freesia piece up here. So my kids have been sick all week. It's really not been my favorite week, and May's a really weird time for that. But anyway, they did both get to go to school today, but I can tell that it was a lot because they are just really, really tired, and I can hear them up there being sad. So I'm glad it's not my problem. For the moment, I'm sure they will assault me as soon as I finish this and go upstairs. Okay, so for Melon Mambo, we want to go to our pale papaya. If I can get a hold of it. All right. And I actually think that I will kind of extend it this way a little bit more, and that just allows me to get a little bit more of the Night of Navy bit on this corner. And actually there again, I think I can probably trim that. So I always flip it over to do my trimming because that way I can just follow right along with the edge of my cardstock. And I'm maybe not doing the best job, but it'll be good enough. Let me just get that little bit off of there. Okay. And now I can find that blue piece again. It was hard to decide which pieces to use for this because they are all so pretty. So I left out the different shades of green, and I was kind of sad about that, but you know, another card can be made. I swear I had a white wedge or a blue wedge, and this just seems like it has too much white, but I guess that is the one. And I also think I want more blue than that, so we'll go ahead and use this one. And just, oh, that's the one I was looking for. That works. I could choose still to have done more, but it'll be fine. So after blue is purple. And again, I'm just gonna try to sneak a little bit of adhesive off of this and finish that off. Okay, so yeah, I actually think that I'm gonna see my first movie in like 2.5 years. Oh, thank you, Janie. You even told me. I'm apparently not doing a good job of checking my comments tonight either. But yeah, so my husband really wants to go with all the family on Memorial Day weekend to watch this movie. And originally, when it was supposed to be released like 2 years ago, he wanted to get flight suits and aviator jackets for everybody and show up in costume. And I'm really glad that 2 ages of maturity have taken that idea out of his head. So that's really not my speed. Do you guys like to dress up? Is that something that you're big on? I'm pretty sure I can answer for my mom, but Janie, I don't think I know your answer. Although I do seem to recall some fun Halloween pictures from you. So, all right, so still just trimming away here. And then we're gonna come down here. There we go. You used to have nerd parties. Okay, you've got to explain what that means because I don't know. But it sounds pretty fun. I was at this social event the other night, and one of the questions, like the, icebreaker kind of questions was, do you like to travel? And I think I was with one other woman that said, no, I like to stay home. So my husband would be very sad if he knew that that was my answer, although I don't think he would be surprised. But that kind of goes hand in hand with not wanting to dress up for parties. So, all right, let's see if I can figure out which color it's supposed to be. I think it's the purple. And that piece is not quite gonna do it. Oh, the sadness. All right, let's see what else we can come up with. Because, well, I guess I still have the blue one, but I would really like to use one of these strips for the inside of the card. Nerds go to prom, nerds go Hawaiian. That is hilarious. And I could actually probably get on board with that because that would sort of be my comfort zone. So thanks for the theme idea. Wonder if it's still politically correct or if I would need to adjust the terminology, if nothing else. I do find it interesting, the things that Jonah comes home saying or doing differently from when I was growing up. Oh no, how'd you get the police there? And better yet, did you have to leave with them or did they just shut you down? I feel like sometimes it's just because you have neighbors who are not fun living or who want to sleep. So, there's probably some of both. All right, so this is the bulk of the card's work. So now I'm going to bring in a piece of Night of Navy, and I have already die cut my circle from it just because why waste cardstock when I don't have to? So I am just going to adhere this, and this piece of navy is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And somehow I am not getting it to line up quite right. I think, yeah, that'll be all right. And then I just kind of want to trim this just a little better. Might have been smarter to do this before I mounted it. But you can always fix things. There were 2 parties on your street. Oh, well, that's good. At least there was nothing actually problematic. I definitely have stories that are at least comparable to that. So sorry, Mom. College was fun days. All right. So now we can go ahead and put this on our Fresh Freesia card base, and it is just a standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 on the long side. And this isn't quite the normal mat, so it does get a little bit more of that Fresh Freesia showing, which is fun. And then, I'm just doing things all out of order, but I am going to just burnish that score line now so it closes nicely. Okay, and we can get rid of all of these little bits. And I didn't actually even show you how I did, yep, that's just too short, how I did the insides. So I'll pull in those other cards here in just a minute. But for this one, I think, I don't know, which way do you like it? Maybe like that? Kind of like it's sky. I think that's what we're gonna do. So my CL refills just came in today. I'm so excited. I had run out a while ago, and then they were just not orderable for a very long time. So they finally were back. I think I might have actually forgotten to check the last time I ordered because it had been so long. Oh, thanks, Janie. But when it works, seal is really, really nice. When it doesn't work, it makes me nuts. But some people say that's user error more than anything else. So we can stick this inside our card, and it is kind of entertaining that we have spent, let's see, 20 minutes just to put paper on more paper and not actually gotten out any ink yet, but we are going to do that. This paper is so beautiful that you just really don't need a whole lot more than that. So what I want to do now is bring in my Night of Navy ink, and I cut this basic white circle from these beautiful stylish shapes dies. So I used the 3rd from smallest, if that makes sense. And then this circle, so it's kind of like the old Starburst punch that we had, except that it also has a circle embossed, so it's really pretty. And it is from the All That dies that go with the He's All That Sweet. Yeah, it's a sweet. That's in the new annual catalog. So for my sentiment, things are getting buried. So I used this last week and I am using it again today, but this time we are not actually die cutting the sentiment. We are just going to stamp it on our little circle. So this time I chose to use Good Luck because I feel like that could be retirement or graduation or you name it. Everybody needs a little luck. So great sentiment. And this stamp set actually has really nice sentiments that you can put inside the card as well. So for this one, I would probably do Because You Totally Deserve It or Not That You Need It, depending on the situation. So those are great. And I think I mentioned the last time, but that is Lisa Curcio's $1 Million Achiever bundle, I guess. I mean, it is a bundle, but I don't know if the die cutting the words was her thing or if that was just what Stampin' Up! Came up with after. So just going to put on a few dimensionals back here. And I roughly centered all of these. I don't know that it's perfect or that they're exactly straight, but we're gonna just go with that. And then I'm gonna bring in my pastel pearls. And I just recently got on board with the organizing my embellishments in stamp cases concept that I know has been around for a very long time. And so far I'm loving it because I can find them really easily. And so like this box is all pearls, and I have one box that's all embellishments for in colors. So if you're looking for ways to organize things, I so far am a huge fan. We'll see what happens as things retire or whatever. All right, so there are 3 of these pretty little pastel pearls, and that card is done. So thank you guys for watching while I made these for you. And then just quickly, I'll show you. This was actually not a strip that I had cut for this card, but it was sitting in the pile, so I thought I would get a nice use out of it there. And then this one I did similarly and actually stamped the inside too. So this one feels really nice and masculine, and these are just beautiful and kind of pastel. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and share, and also to put an order in with that host code that I will include here shortly if you want to receive the make and takes. Okay, well, it was great to see you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.